and that this helped the family finances, though what Mrs. Callaghan did for the uncles who visited whenever their ships were in port was a closed book to her, and to Danny, Claudia thought, though it was a subject that was never mentioned between them. Claudia had tried asking her mother about Mrs. Callaghan's mysterious visitors, but Louisa Muldoon had gone rather red and had said that it was none of her business. "But Danny's a good boy. He looks after his mother and he takes care of you, so I never worry when you go off with him," she'd said. "It's a struggle to rear a child on your own, as Mrs. Callaghan does, which is why I always tell you to bring Danny here after school, rather than hanging around Albemarle Court." She'd given her daughter a hug. "To Mrs. Callaghan, you're just another mouth to feed," she'd concluded. "Wake up, dreamy." Danny's voice brought Claudia back to the present, and she realised that they had reached the greengrocery shop. Mr. Harper was building apple pyramids on the staging in front of his shop, and looked up as Danny addressed him. "Got any orange boxes going spare, mister? Us fancies making a sledge for when the snow comes, so if you could—" Mr. Harper balanced the last apple on the top of the pyramid and turned to shake his head sadly at the two children. He was a small man with an enormous white moustache and a pair of thick black eyebrows that looked oddly incongruous against his bushy white hair. "The orange boxes looks like being full of oranges for a few weeks yet," he told them. "I do good business up to Christmas. Then there's a call for fruit at the new year. But right now folks is just buying what you might call essentials, mainly spuds and cabbage. So I shan't have no orange boxes until the weather gets warmer and folks start fancying fruit again." "Oh, well, thanks, mister. But by the time the weather gets warmer, us won't be wanting sledges," Danny said rather gloomily. "I suppose you've got a delivery lad what works weekends and school holidays. Only me pal here and myself could do with earning a few pennies." Mr. Harper laughed, and his magnificent moustache tilted up to reveal large tobacco-stained teeth. "I'm fully staffed, but I don't blame you for asking, lad," he said. "I know what it means to need a penny or two. When I were a lad living in the country, January, February and March was always called the hungry months. We came close to starving several times, and I reckon it ain't that different in a town." He stood back to admire his handiwork, then gave an exclamation and pounced on one of the apples lying on the staging. "Bruised," he said briefly. "Want it?" The children left with profuse thanks and shared the apple, bite and bite about, as they retraced their steps along the Scotty. When they reached school, they parted, with a promise to walk home together when classes finished. Danny, spotting a neighbour's child, gave her the apple core, pointing out that there were still 2 good mouthfuls left if she was careful. The child, however, ate the core as well as the fruit that remained, and thanked him wholeheartedly. Claudia smiled to herself. She guessed that an apple was a rare treat for the little girl, and was grateful that she and young Jenny got such things as a matter of course. Jenny was 5 and worshipped her big sister, but would have looked askance had Claudia given her an apple core and expected her to be grateful. Now, not to be outdone by her pal, Claudia plunged a hand into her coat pocket and produced a small object wrapped in greaseproof paper. It was a milk roll, baked by her grandmother the previous day and given to her granddaughter as a little extra. Claudia broke the roll in 2 and handed half to the child. "Have it for your snapping at break time," she began. But the little girl, cheeks already extended by the milk roll, simply nodded her thanks, swallowed, and then rushed towards the school gates as the infant's bell sounded. "That were nice of you," Danny observed, following the child with his eyes as she careered across the playground and joined the line of her classmates. "That kid gets more clacks than kisses. Hey up, that's my bell. Ta-ra, see you later." Claudia's own bell sounded seconds after, and she trotted across the playground and headed for Chloe, her best friend, who was beckoning her wildly halfway up the queue. As Claudia slipped into place beside her, Chloe turned and grinned. "I called for you, but your mum said you'd left early," she said. "I met the postie as I was turning into Blodwen Street. He gave me your mum's letter."